Alright, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today I want to talk to you about HIVE Blockchain, stock ticker HIVE. HIVE is a Bitcoin miner, and we cover the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel. So if that's content that you're interested in, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if you enjoy this video, please smash the like button, and if you have any thoughts or comments, you can drop a comment below. HIVE announced their quarterly earnings for the period ended December 31st, 2021 today. So they did that in the middle of the night. They actually released their earnings report, and then they had an earnings call this morning. So I've gone through their earnings report and I listened to their earnings call, and there was actually some very, very big news inside of there. One thing that I found astounding. So we will get to that. I want to go through the news release, talk about how they performed, and discuss a few of the things that the CEO had to say about the direction the company is moving in. And then we'll take a look at the charts and see where HIVE is at and where it might be going from here. Okay, this is their press release. HIVE announces record quarterly revenue of $68 million, up 397% from the same quarter last year, and earnings for our third quarter ended December 31st, 2021. The quarter ended December 31st, 2021 is actually their third quarter. They don't have a calendar year, but this is the most recent quarter that everybody is reporting on right now. So you can see this was put out today, February 15th, 2022. All right, I'm just going to read a few excerpts from here that I think are important, then we'll go to some of the highlights. The first thing is, they say, for the 3-month period, revenue rose to $68.2 million, up 30% compared with last quarter, and 397% since the same quarter last year. Those of you familiar with the channel know that I like to compare quarter over quarter in the Bitcoin mining sector because year over year is not very meaningful. The entire nature of mining Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, the amount of exahash that everybody has changed so drastically over a year that everybody's year-over-year numbers look out of this world. What is more important to me is that quarter over quarter, that's the most recent activity. Are they making progress quarter over quarter? And here they're saying they're up 30% when compared with the last quarter, so that is impressive. Those are good results. They then go on to say net income reached $64.2 million, up 7% from last quarter and 273% since the prior year. I'm going to look at the income statement and we'll break that down a little bit because Bitcoin mining income statements are among the most confusing of any industry I've ever seen. So we'll get to that and break that down a little bit. HIVE's combined liquid Bitcoin and Ethereum has a gross value of $168 million. That's an 11x from the $15 million they had a year ago. So they were not hodling, and then in 2021, they, along with most of the miners, decided to start to hodl their cryptocurrency assets that they were mining. They're holding on to both their Bitcoin and their Ethereum. So you can see that resulted in a massive increase. So they had a couple of graphics. This is Q3 February 2021, which is December 31st, 2020. And compared to this quarter, December 31st, 2021. So they went from, and this is the breakdown between Ethereum and Bitcoin. So you can see they went from holding very little of any of this at the end of last year. And now at the end of this year, they have $168 million. And it looks like it's split pretty equally between the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. They have another graphic here. Bitcoin hodled by HIVE increased threefold. So they're showing the number of Bitcoin mined by quarter over the last 5 quarters. So you can see a dramatic jump. So here's a quote from the CFO. A year ago, we made the conscious decision not to sell our mined cryptocurrency or undertake an expensive financing when brokers were offering the capital at 20% discounts or encouraging us to borrow against our Bitcoin and Ethereum at a 12% cost of capital in the scramble by crypto mining companies to purchase more ASIC chips. HIVE's modest equity fundings were done at prevailing market prices or premiums to the stock price, and this has helped us generate the highest robust returns on invested capital relative to our peers. So that's a statement basically on their hodling strategy, also their strategy not to borrow at massive premiums. Their purchase of machines and growth in the past year they describe as HIVE's modest equity fundings. So that's been their philosophy, and it looks like that's going to be their philosophy going forward. All these Bitcoin mining companies are digging into other potential strategies, and I think there's going to be a lot more debt in the future. I think financial institutions are coming around to loaning money at a more reasonable rate and securing it by equipment, but they have not gone there yet. So that's just speculation on my part. Okay, Q3 quarterly highlights. Generated revenue from digital currency of $68.2 million with a gross margin of $61.7 million. So we're going to look at that. That's about a 90% gross margin. So when we look at the income statement, we'll talk more about that, but this is a very highly profitable equation that they're involved in. Mined 697 Bitcoin and over 7,126 Ethereum during the 3-month period ended December 31st, 2021. Earned net income of $64.2 million for the period. We're going to look at that. There's about 5 different ways to look at net income when you're looking at these mining companies. I have my own way that I think is a little more meaningful and a little more in line with traditional accounting policies. So working capital increased to $141.2 million during the 3 months ended December 31st, 2021. Digital currency assets of $168.1 million as of December 31st, 2021. So they have strengthened their balance sheet quite a bit. I'm just going to read a few parts that I think are important. Gross mining margin during the period was $61.7 million, or 90% of income from digital currency mined, compared to $10.6 million, or 78% of income from digital currencies mined in the same period in the prior year. So year over year, they've increased their margins quite a bit, from 78% to 90%. So obviously those efficiencies are excellent news. 90% gross profit is great. Net income during the quarter was $64.2 million, or 17 cents per share, compared to $17.2 million, or 5 cents per share in the same period last year. The improvement was driven primarily by the improvement in gross mining margin. Higher Ethereum and Bitcoin prices, gain on the sale of digital currencies, and foreign exchange. Okay, so this is their income statement for Q3. They have revenue from digital currency mining of $68 million. So you can see that beats last quarter of $52 million. And here they have the restated first quarter of $37 million. So this is very nice progress. $37 million, $52.6 million, now $68 million. So on a quarterly basis, they're growing their revenue substantially. Then they have operating and maintenance. So these are their direct costs, which are mostly energy. So any direct cost involved in the mining is put in this number right here. So it's this number minus this number equals this $61,657,000, and that is this 90% gross mining margin. They then have to include their depreciation, because obviously they spend a massive amount of money on machines, and this is how you expense your machines, through depreciation. Their depreciation is going up and up, but it's going up in proportion to their revenue, and they continue to buy more machines, so this will continue to go up. But you'll see even after depreciation, their actual gross margin is $46.6 million. So that's still a 68% gross margin, including depreciation. So in addition to the gross margin of $46,600, they have about $6 million in regular operating costs, and that includes foreign exchange gain or loss. So that leaves them about $40 million of income from operations before you get into all the gains or losses and reevaluations on the cryptocurrencies. So you can see they're making a very healthy gross profit. They're making a very healthy net income even before accounting for all the changes in cryptocurrency pricing. And obviously they then made even more money once you take those into account. So their net income from continuing operations was $64 million, and their revenue was $68 million. So you can see, very profitable quarter for them. Now I want to get to something the CEO, Frank Holmes, said in the conference call that is not noted in this press release that they did. Frank Holmes, the CEO, basically said that he does not think Ethereum is ever going to proof of stake. So their business model is centered around mining Bitcoin and Ethereum. They will continue to mine Ethereum. They're going to continue to invest in mining Ethereum. They do not believe that Ethereum is ever going to move from proof of work to proof of stake. So that's a very big assumption. My own personal opinion is I think he's probably right, but obviously it's a massive topic of conversation, and they've said they are going to do this. He had several different arguments as to why it doesn't make sense to do that and why he believes it will never happen, one of which is just from the Securities and Exchange Commission standpoint. He believes that proof of stake more represents a security that would fall under the SEC versus proof of work, which is just a reward for mining Bitcoin. So again, they will continue mining Ethereum. That's a core part of their business model, and it's a big piece of their business model. Let's take a look at the charts and see what's happening today. I'm going to start out on the 4-hour candle, zoomed out a little bit here so that we can take a look at, this is from September basically, which was the end of the last Bitcoin bear run. And then you can see HIVE, much like all the rest of the miners, in January broke below that line and is not yet back to that line, even though Bitcoin is back to and above where it was on September 29th. From HIVE's high in November of $5.61 to what it's currently trading at today, and it's having a very good day today, it's still down over 60% off of its highs. This is not uncommon. Most of the Bitcoin miners have had a similar fate over that period of time. Bitcoin had a big pullback. You can see that on January 24th, HIVE bottomed out at around $1.51. January 24th seemed to be the day that all the Bitcoin miners bottomed out and the day that Bitcoin itself bottomed out. Bitcoin got down to $33,000 on that day. That would appear to be 3.5 weeks later that was the bottom. So we never know that for sure, but the momentum has been upward for Bitcoin and all the Bitcoin miners ever since. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and just do a few calculations real quickly, and then we'll wrap this up. So for HIVE to go from where it's trading right now back to December 27th, which is about 1.5 months ago, that would be almost a 43% increase in the price of this stock. And then the other one I want to look at is Bitcoin had a flash crash on December 3rd. So if HIVE were to get back to its pre-Bitcoin flash crash price, which again was just 2.5 months ago, that would be a 57% increase in the price of HIVE. They are up 9.25% today. All the Bitcoin miners are having a good day, and HIVE is participating in that. I think their quarterly results were met with a positive reaction from investors. That's all I've got on HIVE right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.